Welcome back everyone to week number 3 of me analyzing every single Master Circuit Series Top Cut, and we had the third event hosted by the Dual Locks over this weekend, and it was 256 players again. And when you look at the pie chart that you can already see on the screen, the release week of Spright has happened. Spright has taken over the meta game. We have 8 Runic Spright decks in top 16 and then 2 additional pure Spright builds, meaning 10 out of 16 were Spright builds in the top cut. So that looks like it might be a tier 0 deck. It certainly is a top tier 1 contender, and time will tell whether it will just completely take over all top cut spots in the future. And we can just talk about the other decks. Sorcel has not disappeared yet. Still 2 Sorcel players standing in top cut as well. 1 Mathmech player also in there. 1 Infernoid, crazily enough. 1 Tri-Brigade Punk, which is a crazy combination that actually never happened in the TCG, so it's kind of interesting to see it on Master Duel. And then 1 Sky Striker as well. We're going to look into some lists now, so let's dive into the action of week number 3. And first of all, honorary mention, fantastic Matt actually went 5-3 in Swiss with Vampires. Who would have seen that coming? I'm honestly not an expert on the deck, and therefore I cannot tell you a whole lot, but maybe you're a Vampire fan, and therefore that is probably a pretty good approach to the Vampire deck. And of course you see he is playing Mask Change into Dark Law, which is a pretty good approach to every deck, because if you're able to summon out Dark Law, a lot of decks will definitely struggle, and definitely the Spright Runic deck would struggle as well. Therefore, I do understand the approach. He didn't make top cut, but it's a pretty good record for that kind of a tournament. And then we are getting into the top cut decks. First of all, we have somebody going 6-2 and losing out in top 16. Making top cut with Mathmech though. We saw only 1 Mathmech player made it, so that's one of the old meta decks that are still viable. Crazily enough, Despia also was one of the big contenders, and there was not a single Despia deck making it to top cut this weekend. But yeah, the list doesn't look too crazy. We see Maxi. We see that Ogre now is being played. Ogre was not really a factor in the meta game before, but now with Spright being around and Gigantic being a card that you can Ogre very well, I do think Ogre is going to increase in popularity drastically in the Master Duel meta. Also, he decided to run Forbidden Droplets, but besides that, nothing too crazy. Going over to another deck that made top 16 in the tournament, and it is the good old Runic Spright. I told you it's the most popular deck now. This is probably a pretty good list to look at. Lava Golem was a card that was being played in the TCG a lot as well, and DJ has decided to play it in his Master Duel list too. And I don't really know. It's kind of interesting with Lava Golem, because Master Duel has a Maxi meta, which, crazy enough, he didn't even play. He decided to play Cosmics for the mirror match because hitting Runic Fountain is insane, but there's no Maxi in here. He plays the answer to Maxi, but he doesn't play Maxi himself. So I don't know whether Lava Golem really is the right approach in a Maxi meta game, but of course drawing into Lava Golem is pretty fun with Maxi, but he's not running Maxi. So I don't know whether we're going to see Lava Golem that much more in the future, but of course dropping the Lava Golem on Sorcerer boards, on Mathmech boards, on Mirror Match Spright boards just definitely sounds amazing, not gonna lie. Then we have a Spright list in here as well, top 8 list by Sweaty Ghost. And as you can see, no Runic cards here, so that was one of the 2 pure Spright decks making it into top cut. And yeah, a bunch of hand traps. We see Ghost Bell, Ash Blossom, 1 singular Veiler and triple Maxi as well. We see the crossout, that's why we went with the singular Veiler of course as well. I think I would have liked the inclusion of Ghost Ogre as well, because that's a pretty good hand trap versus the deck, so you want to be able to cross out of the way. But he decided against it, and besides that, I really like the idea of playing pure Spright. I don't know whether it can have enough gas to play through Runic Spright boards, but I think that's something that future will tell us, and it's definitely something that is interesting. And I mean, Runic Spright in that Challenger Cup and Master Circuit Series meta is kind of weird, because you are struggling to get damage onto the board. Sometimes the round limit of 20 or 30 minutes feels too short to actually do enough pressure with Runic Spright, and therefore going for the deck that does not have to skip their battle phase by not playing the Runic cards may be the correct approach. Who knows? And then also we have another player making it to top 8, and I talked about Tri-Brigade Punk making it to top 8, and this is crazy. This is Coach Zeke, the guy that managed to do so. And yeah, if you want to try out this wild deck, then here you are. On Master Duel, you still have Chaos Ruler, which is a good card in this deck for sure. We're playing double Revolt, which is crazy. I think that's a pretty hard commitment to going first, but it worked out for him. We see even the Nibiru, which is okay-ish versus Spright, but can very often be played around by using Gigantic early or summoning out Red early, and therefore I'm not really a huge fan of it, but it worked out like a charm for Coach Zeke. He made top 8, so definitely shoutouts to him. And then, last but not least, we have the winner of week number 3. It is Steve Cox, and he was playing the most popular strategy as well. It is the Runic Spright deck, so if you want to see a really, really good Runic Spright deck, that also is not running Lava Golem, contrarian to the other Runic Spright list we looked at. That is maybe the go-to list here. We are running triple tactic talents in the main deck, which I'm a huge fan of. I told you, this card is going to be huge in Master Duel as well. It is super, super popular in TCG at the moment, but on Master Duel, I think it is going to take off as well. And then the Master Circuit Series events are played with a side deck as well, which you can use in top cards. And I do believe Eradicator is a super strong card. You just build a Gigantic with 3200 attack on turn 1, and then in the mirror match, you are getting rid of all of these spell cards that your opponent has. Seems pretty brutal, pretty brutal, and something that a lot of people will probably be picking up on. Runic Spright, most likely the best deck that Master Duel has to offer now. Probably a deck that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks as well. I'm excited to see how the development of the Runic Spright deck is going to be, how the tech choices are going to look like, whether Lava Golem still is going to be a card in the future or not. If you want to see more of that, definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel, maybe leave a like to the video or leave a comment as well. I'm doing content on the Master Circuit Series and also on the European Challenger Cups, so definitely make sure to don't miss out. Maybe check me out daily on Twitch as well. See you over there.